This channel is documenting the journey to make $1 million on YouTube. And it's kind of cool that 10 years ago, I went full-time as a YouTuber. As a YouTuber, as a musician, basically for the past 10 years, I've been running my own business. I've been self-employed. I get to do what I want, when I want, which is basically making videos and making music. I feel like I am living the dream. Even though right now, at the exact time I'm filming this, I do feel a little sick. I'm a little bit under the weather, but still love making videos. And in this video, I want to talk about the 5 things I've done really in the past 10 years as a big picture perspective that have really allowed me to make more money. And I'm not talking about like nitty gritty little technical things, but more perspectives, general practices that I've done that I really wish I knew a decade ago. As these 5 things are the big things I've noticed that took me from making some money to now a lot of money and more money than I could ever imagine. Number 1. Taking affirmations seriously. Now, there's 2 types of people that are going to be watching this. One is like, oh, I'm big into affirmations, the universe, visualizing, the law of attraction, etc. The other half is probably going to say, whoa, I don't believe in that BS. I believe in science. Here's actually my take, which may be kind of an interesting middle ground, is I actually go more with the second group. I actually don't really believe that much in the universe, the law of attraction. I believe in science. And there has been a lot of science when it comes to visualizing. Take like Usain Bolt in the Olympics or any athlete, visualizing, picturing where you want to go, all this kind of stuff has been shown in a lot of studies. And so I say that to a lot of people that I think for a while, I would maybe like wake up, say a couple things and then stop. And then I would do it for maybe a week and then stop. And then a few years ago, I think it was like 5 to 7 years ago, I was like, you know what? Let me just every month, I'm going to wake up, maybe go on a morning walk, and I'm going to verbally out loud say my affirmations. Or I'm going to wake up, and before I even get anything done, I'm going to read these affirmations. And I noticed doing this every day, I started to make more money. And you could argue, because again, you never know, maybe there is something like the universe and the law of attraction and all that, like the secret kind of thinking. Maybe there is. We don't know. But the way I looked at it is, one, I know that when I looked at a lot of and studied a lot of famous and successful people, all of them had some type of visualizing practice of how they want their business to run, how they want to perform that sporting event, how they want that song to sound, etc. And the way I look at it too is it's free. It's literally free, right? It doesn't, cost you anything. And so what I would typically do, and this is what I do now, is I wake up. This is actually my morning routine, in case you're curious. I wake up. I don't check my phone right away, which is important. So I wake up. I take a cold shower immediately, get out of the cold shower, and then go on my balcony so I get the sun in my eyes, really good for health and your circadian rhythm, and then I read my affirmations out loud. And I say this because it's interesting that back in the day, I was very being like, you know what? I think affirmations are BS. I think it's stupid, blah, blah, blah. But I almost kind of look at it as like going to the gym. Like if you go to the gym 2 times a week for a month, and it's like, F this. I'm not going to lose weight. I'm not going to build muscle. It's like, well, yeah, you really went a couple times a week. You kind of went through the motions. And in addition to that, you only did it for a month and then you gave up. Of course, you got to do it every single day. And I think the one thing I decided to do, like I said, I think it was about 5 to 7 years ago, I said, you know what? Let me just take this seriously. As opposed to me just being like, yeah, I'm this and this and this, and just reading it off this, and then I go on. I'm like, let me sit down or be outside or wherever my situation is. And for 10 to 15 minutes, picture where I want to be. Picture I want things to run. Picture the money I want to make. And really read it out loud. Like not just being like, but like verbally out loud. And I got to say, whether it is the universe and law of attraction or not, whether it's the science, whatever it is, I noticed that once I started taking it seriously, like it was almost my morning routine, like going to the gym. Like I have to do it every morning, no matter what, I started to make a lot more money. Number 2, looking at what I could get from money. This is a really interesting one. This may be more of a personal thing, but here's what's tough for me. Money has never been a big motivator. I kind of wish it was for me because I know a lot of people are really motivated by having a lot of money. And I don't judge. I don't look at that as greedy. You want to make a lot of money. I get it. For me, though, it's never been a big motivator. And I noticed that in combination with my affirmations, a lot of time I'd be like, okay, I want to hit this amount. So I remember on YouTube, and I said this before in other videos, a year ago, 10 years ago, bit of difference. 10 years ago, my goal was to make over $1,000 a month on YouTube. Because I feel like at that point, it's a decent proof of concept. And that's what happened. In May of 2016, I made my first $1,000 in a month with YouTube and music, went all in. And my next goal was $3,000 in a month. So to go from basically $12K a year to $36K a year, right? To make it be like, okay, $1,000 a month, I have to really pinch pennies. Like, it was tough here in LA. I'll be honest, to be transparent, I think the first year I lived in LA in 2016, I made 17K in that year, right? But I found a way to work. I lived in an artist community. I found a way to make it work. I shopped at the dollar store, etc. And then I was like, 3K a month, 36K a year, that's like, it's tough, but that's somewhat of a salary. Granted, this is back in 2016. And it took me a long time to get to the 3K. And the reason why is I remember being like, oh, I'm waking up every day. I'm trying to pitch for that $3,000. But I realized looking back on it, and I even kind of knew this in the moment, it wasn't that motivating to me. Yeah, of course, having more money is better, of course. But I'm not into material possessions. I don't care about buying things. I don't really. So what I started saying is, you know what? As opposed to me saying, let me picture the amount of money I want to make and focus on $3,000 in a month. And then the next one was 5K and then 10K. What if I picture what I can do with it? So I started to say to myself, you know what? Let me imagine that I'm making so much money now, like I'm making that 3K or 5K a month, that when I go out to the bar with friends, I can buy a round for my friends because I love buying rounds for people. I love buying people drinks. I know what it's like. And I remember this, how sometimes being so broke that a Friday night, which most people are excited about, they're like, hey, thank God it's Friday, TGIF, was the worst day for me because I was so broke. I'd go to the bar with friends. It'd be happy hour. Be like, oh, dude, $5 beers. And I was literally so broke, I couldn't afford a $5 beer. So for me, I'm like, I love being able to buy people a beer if they want. Or like say, me and my friends go out and we're able to go to a concert and I'm not able to kind of freak out about a $20 cover for this one EDM concert, for example. Or like say me buying a big festival ticket. Like at the time of this video, next week, I'm going to Lightning in a Bottle, which is a big music festival here in like the Southern California area. So for me, what I started to do is like not what is this amount that I want to hit? Because to me, I don't care. I really don't care. But look what I can buy with this stuff. As in, look at the trips I can make, the experiences I can have, the way I can help people out, the way I can donate my money, the way I can make better quality videos to make things better for people. I started to look at the kind of benefit of having more finances. And I found that motivated me a lot. And maybe for you, maybe it's the fact that you could make ends meet more to put more food on the table. Maybe for you, it could be saving for your kids' college fund, whatever it is. But I found that by switching my mindset from just an amount, which is kind of like, and I don't use the word intangible, but kind of, you're like, oh, $3,000 a month, $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, cool. Once you started saying, look what I can do with that, and let me look at that as a motivator, that helped me a lot. Number 3, removing negativity. This is a big one. If someone had to ask me, like, what is a piece of advice that you're the most hypocritical about, or used to be, is that you're the sum of the 5 people you hang out and associate with the most. This is something that I used to be like, who cares? Because when I first started pursuing everything I'm doing now, I was the only one of my friends. It's not like I had some kind of brain trust or some kind of mastermind group where we all were trying to become YouTubers or musicians or entrepreneurs or starting our own business. I was the only one. And I felt okay with that. I'm like, hey, I get it. Like, I'm on this solo path, by myself trying to figure this out. I was really the first person I met for years that even talked about trying to get anywhere on YouTube and music. And I got a lot of hate for that. And what's interesting is I had a lot of friends, even some of my best friends, be very, very negative about it. Be very negative. I think which is kind of interesting, especially once I started to see some success. And it is kind of crazy that I don't care how positive you are, because I'm naturally a very positive and upbeat person, as most of you can guess, and very extroverted and everything. It still does weigh you down. Like, I remember when I first hit that $1,000 a month on YouTube and music, I had some friends be like, hey, dude, that's cool, but you're not going to get any more than that. And I'm like, oh, you never know. I just hit $1,000. Maybe next month I'll hit 1,100, right? Like, my goal is to, start making more. And they're like, I don't know, dude, come on, it's YouTube. Like, be realistic, bro. Or it's the music industry. Be realistic. And don't get me wrong. Yeah, realistically, it is very difficult to make it on YouTube. Realistically, yes, it is very difficult to make it in music. And I think there's a difference between being optimistic and delusional. Delusional is you saying, I'm going to be the next Brad Pitt no matter what. It's like, nah. Now, if someone came to me and said, hey, I would like to be the next Brad Pitt. I don't know, though, but I would like to be an actor, but maybe I can become the next Brad Pitt, but highly unlikely. I'm like, okay, that's optimistic. You're saying you're going to shoot for it, you're going to dream big and go for it, but do you also understand that the chance of you being the next Brad Pitt or the next Mr. Beast or the next Skrillex is pretty low, right? So I think there's a fine but definite line between optimism and delusion. I think the problem is for a lot of, when I'm going to say like single-minded thinkers and negative thinkers, is they think that, the harsher the realism, the better the thinking is. And what I mean is that they think, oh, well, like, don't even try becoming an actor because you're never going to make it. And it's like, well, no, like, you should at least go for it. Like, who knows what's going to happen, but do be aware that there is a ton of luck. At the end of the day, there is a ton of luck with YouTube, with music, with acting, etc. And I will say that regardless of that luck exists or not, regardless of your perspectives on that, I think that being around negative people, I noticed that once I started to remove those negative people and replace them with positive people or people who are neutral, let me just say it like that, like weren't positive, weren't negative, were very like neutral, I noticed I felt better about the things I was doing. I noticed that there were times for the past 10 years, as you can imagine, where I had ups and downs through YouTube. And I noticed that when I was around too many negative people, I did start to make less. I noticed that looking back on it, I'd actually make less videos because I was like, is this YouTube thing even worth it? Like I'm going up and down. Do I really want to do this? Should I get a real job? Right? That kind of thing. And I noticed that once I removed those negative people from my life, once I stopped hanging out with all this negativity, my earnings would go up. It was almost very apparent when I would look at the fluctuation of my earnings, because of course it's not a steady paycheck with YouTube and music and everything I'm doing, that the big points where I was making a lot of money, I was around a lot of positive people who believed in me. And the points when I was not making that much money, I was around a lot of negative people. And it wasn't an exact correlation directly that one-to-one, but it was enough when I was like, you know what? Removing negative people and people drain your emotional energy and whatnot, that means you have to kind of make up for it. And if they drain your emotional energy and you're already trying to motivate yourself to be successful, but they're draining you, not only do you have to come back up to baseline because of how far they brought you down, but now you even go past it, which means you're almost working double the emotional energy on top of your work. Removing negativity is one of the best things you can do. Number 4, the 80-20 rule. This is very popular, and I gotta say, there's a reason why it is, and that is this, that typically for most people, 20% of what you're doing is getting you 80% of the results. And I remember I heard this quote, I think it's from The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, I think is the name of the book, and I'm paraphrasing the quote a little bit, and that's not stopping and seeing where you're going and where you want to go is almost like saying, I can't stop for gas because I want to keep driving. It's like at some point, it's not gonna make any sense. Kind of like that quote, paraphrasing again from like Alice in Wonderland, that if you don't know where you want to go, any road will take you there. And so a big thing that I started to do a lot is, as opposed to like say, and this is what I used to, I'd fire up my iPhone, sounds kind of weird to say, but I'd film all my videos with my iPhone, set up my microphone, all my kind of stuff, and I'd film. And I'd just do that every day. And then I took a step back and said, okay, you know what? Let me do the 80-20 rule. What are the top videos that I've made that are making the most amount of money? But also, a big thing I started to think of too is not even just the videos themselves, but what are certain things? Like, what are the things that I'm doing that are making me a lot more money? What are the things that I should start putting more effort into, start putting less effort into? So one big thing, to use an example, I've talked about this in some videos, I've done some tutorials on this channel. I started to notice that affiliate marketing was paying a lot of money, but I just never really went that much into it. I started to realize, you know what? Wait a minute, this affiliate marketing thing that I haven't really done or put that much effort into actually is making me a good amount of money. So then I kind of switched and said, okay, as opposed to me just waking up, filming a video about whatever, because I'm just in this same pattern, what if I take a step back, wake up and say, okay, what can I make a video about that then connects to affiliate marketing? Because that's a good way. Or another thing I started doing is, before I used to film, and I film almost daily, most of you know this, but I started to really take a step back and say, okay, what do my subscribers want too? What are the videos that not just I want, but my subscribers want that are performing that well? And so a big thing I started to do is really kind of look at the 20 or 80-20 rule, and it's big in a lot of principles of economics, that I really try to say, what are the 20% of the videos I'm doing, the things I'm doing, how I'm handling my time? Let me look at the things that really will give me the highest ROI, and not only look at that and replicate it, but then go all in. Because if, like, say you realize, and I'm making this up, that by you doing this one specific thing is making you a good amount of money, what if you do that one specific thing, but more of it? So you're 5Xing the best thing that you know of that's making the most amount of money to 5X your income, if that makes sense. And I think it's never a bad idea. And sometimes I even try to do this even like once a week, at the least once a month. I try to do it if I can, maybe once a week, is I take a step back, look at all my stuff and say, okay, what are things that are giving me the best ROI, the best results? How can I replicate that and enhance it to make more money? And last, but definitely not least, number 5, and this is an interesting one, spending money. When I first started out trying to make it as a YouTuber, musician, everything I'm doing now, I kind of call it the Ferchero project. I realized that what I tried to do is save as much money as possible. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, saving money, being financially responsible. Remember that your goal isn't to make more money, it's also to have more money. So if you're spending money like an idiot, it doesn't matter how much money you're making, you're walking away with less money in your pocket. So I want to say that you do want to be financially smart and responsible, right? But I think in the beginning, what I tried doing too much is saving everything. I was so afraid to spend money because I was like, I don't know. And then I think even Mark Cuban talked about this, that sometimes if you want to be safe, you want to be careful, sometimes making that leap of faith and buying something that you know can make you more money is one of the best things you can do. And I don't think it's always true that you have to spend money to make money. I don't think that's always true. But I will say that one thing I realized that allowed me to start making more money is, and you probably heard this a lot of business people talk about this and entrepreneurs, is reinvesting in your business. The thing is, if you're trying to create something on your own, sometimes one of the best things you can do is be like, you know what? I know maybe this is not the financially smartest decision, but I can do it. For example, when I started making music, I was using headphones, didn't have any good setup. And then I was like, you know what? I got to buy monitors, or basically really good speakers. The first one I got were Rocket KRK6s. If you know, you know. Great set of monitors. I think it cost me it was like $600 when I bought them, or $500, something along those lines. And at that time, that was oh my God, this is in 2012. That was a ton of money. That was an insane amount of money. And I realized, you know what though? I got to do this because if I have better speakers, I make better music. And then as things start to really pick up for YouTube, I thought about getting a microphone. And then I was like, I don't know, microphones are expensive. But then I got the Blue Yeti, which in my opinion is probably the best beginner's microphone. It was $100 when I bought it. I noticed my audio got better. Because my audio got better, my videos got better, and people watch them longer because audio production and having good quality audio is really, really good. This microphone is a Shure MV7 Plus microphone. This is about a $300 microphone. And it's crazy looking back when I first started, I would have never bought a $300 microphone. I'd be like, you know what, whatever money I make, I get to save. That's it. But once I started saying, you know what, maybe I just have to charge it to my credit card. Maybe I have to start spending money, not like an idiot. I'm not talking about blowing money. I'm talking about being like, what is something I can purchase that I know, sometimes you don't know 100%, but what is something I can purchase that I'm almost 100% positive that this one item could allow me to make more money, allow me to get more views, more hits, basically whatever you're doing, it could allow me to become bigger in anything. And I think one of the best things you can do, even though it's tough, and you do want to be smart here, right? I do want to stress that you do want to be smart. I'm not saying to be irresponsible, but what I am saying is sometimes you do have to take a step back and say, you know what? It is a bit of a leap of faith. I don't know if I should charge $300 to my credit card for a really good microphone, but I know that's going to allow me to make better videos. And the better videos that I have, the more people watch them, the more money I'll make.